friend Flannery from FFR Fabrications in good old McKee, Kentucky. Kentucky seems to be the central for these off-road machines. We have a lot of good fabricators here in Kentucky. Some of the best, I feel like, anywhere is right here in Kentucky, and some of them make such good things. I'm amazed by them myself, and I feel like we build pretty awesome stuff here at FFR too. And I'm so humbled and grateful to my customers that I've had that's been so loyal and bought from me so many times over, and helped lift me up out there on Facebook. I thank you so much. I'm so humbled by you, and I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. The Lord has blessed me in this so much, that given me guidance, and I thank the Lord, and I give Him all the glory and praise for that. For I'm just a man, but Jesus Christ is who strengthens me, and I'm truly grateful to you customers and you people out there that's helped support us and trying to grow us. I would like to grow even more in the future. We're doing a lot of Can-Am X3 stuff now. It used to be a lot of Polaris, and the X3 stuff is really taken off. Actually, in the last few months, I've probably had more X3 sales than I have Polaris, which is really good. I mean, but one of the things that I like about Polaris, and I've got new accessories for this Turbo S, and that's what this video is about. Plus, we're going to have a little bit clip of installing the tree kickers, because I got a new mounting style for them, and a new bolt style that I've come up with and designed myself that works. They're reusable. They lock into the brackets, and they're a good piece, I feel like. But the thing I love about Polaris is their ability to accept accessories, how you can just mount a lot of stuff up. And with this new Turbo S, the front end of these things looks so great already, especially with the fangs. You're thinking, how in the world can I put a bumper on that and cover all that beauty up and keep it looking good? But you want to protect that stuff, and especially if you're in the woods, you know, and not even if you're in the woods and worry about yourself hitting something. It's always somebody hitting you. You'll be going down a trail and there'll be somebody crazy and slam you right in the back or something. And if you didn't have a bumper, you've done crammed your muffler up in the transmission. And I mean, you got to have this stuff to protect. And I feel like that we have designed some bumpers that's really excelled and pulled out some of the body language of this thing. I designed it to where you could still see the fangs on the inside of the bars. We got light bar tabs that we can do whatever type of light bar, as long as it's in the size range to fit on the bar. We can put tabs what you need. It molds up pretty easy. You can still use your tow hook. We supply longer boats that helps boat through there. And I'm going to make this bumper in 2 or 3 different styles, and depending on how you order or what you want, I can put a skid plate on it. For you guys that likes lightweight stuff, there's some people that want them as heavy as a tank. They want to be able to hit a rock wall and nothing give. Them guys usually bend their frames, but anyway, I know some of you guys like performance and you don't like adding a lot of weight to your machines. So I'm normally building these out of 095 tubing. So if you want something lighter to keep your weight down, we can do that also. I'm going to also offer this bumper without this bar and these bars. That way you can have more of a standard style bumper, standard protection. It'll be a little more cost effective for you. But I feel like these is a good bumper. They look good. And this Polaris blue that we got, it's the Polaris powder. It matches dead on. We can also get the Indy Red for you guys that's got the Indy Red Turbo S. But I feel like that these bumpers has really actually improved the looks of this Turbo S, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. We should have these to where we can produce them in a few weeks. The tree kickers, we're already producing them, and as you can tell, the rear bumper, when you see it looks awesome too. It protects the tail lights and everything good. And I feel like with this style bumper, the one reason I didn't go over the headlights this time is I feel like that when I was laying bars up there and trying to go and check it out, I felt like that it was taken away from the front end, and I feel like that this style bumper really shows the fangs good. It still helps the front end to look good, and I feel like honestly it looks better with this bumper than without one. Plus it's got plenty of protection to help you get bolts on easy installation. But we're going to get into a video showing you how to install these tree kickers. But I thank you guys so much, and we'll get to that clip. Thanks. Alright guys, I got these new 2018 Turbo S tree kickers, and we changed the design on these newer models a little bit with a bracket design, mounting style. We put an offset in them to help in certain situations, and I noticed on the trails that it seemed like a little bit of an offset kicker is better. You don't want them full width in the front, and same as the back, and I put a little slope design in them, and I believe that really helps in the tight spots where you got two trees that's kind of offset, plus it helps protect your doors more. And if you're laying your arm out on the door, I mean, not saying that you couldn't get your arm hurt or anything, but I'm just saying it helps kind of keep you off the trees a little better, especially if you're in a lean. A thing I find really important with tree kickers from the past and what I've seen is a lot of people wants to run the bar way to the top of the tire, and that does help with trees. But when you got a stump that's right around in here or up a little higher, or if you drop down in a rut, you're putting the side pressure of your suspension against the rut, and it's putting more pressure on your axles, differentials, everything. And if your tree kicker is there, and your tree kicker's not so tall up on the tire, and not necessarily flat, because flat can help hang you up too, but more in this vicinity here of the tire, I found out in most situations with ruts, stumps, trees that's been cut down, that it really helps protect and it takes the pressure off the machine. But with these new style tree kickers, I have designed a new bolt. I wouldn't recommend copying them because I'm trying to get a patent on them right now. They're a load bolt, and I've designed them to work with our brackets that's on our kickers. Now, if you want to use the L-style bolts or something different, or if you wanted to drill holes in your frame and mount them, which I don't recommend, you can do that. You can use the L-style bolt if you want to, but our kickers are priced and they come with the hardware already. And the reason I like the hardware that we're using, I know a lot of people's not a fan of the expansion bolt that Polaris has, and I'm really not a fan of Polaris's expansion bolts either, because they're small, they're thin, and they're known for not being reusable. You can reuse our bolts. You just have to take them apart and squeeze them back together and then put your bolt back on. You can reuse them numerous times. My kickers on my razor is painted. I didn't powder coat them just for the simple fact of touch up. I know they're going to get beat up, and I'm a fan of paint on tree kickers. So with that being said, you can reuse these bolts, and these bolts is what they do. You'll put them in and you'll put the load down and hit a lock into the bracket, and then when you bolt it, it'll swell out in the frame. And the thing I like about our style bolts is the frames on these razors is 83 thousandths thick if you mic one. And where they mount at on the mounting points, Polaris has installed a washer on the outside of the face of the frame that's welded. Well, when that bolt swells out in there, again, that washer, it's getting so much surface area of clamping force with the washer and the thickness of the frame compared to if you have a bolt just running and getting just the size of the bolt. It don't get as much surface area, plus it's getting back to where the washer don't even protect. So, and I mean, I'm not saying they're a bad bolt. They are a good bolt. They are a good bolt. Everybody has their preference. But I'm just saying my preference, I like this style bolt. And another thing I like about it is I like the way Polaris has designed their accessories, and they've designed it in a good way that the frame is tough with that little washer welded onto the frame there. And I just feel like it's an easier installation. With these new brackets, you don't have to remove the Torx bolts to put them on. And one reason I changed the bracket style on Turbo S compared to the other styles that I'm doing is where the Turbo S is so wide. There's so much more leverage ratio, so they need a little bit different mounting, in my opinion, to help with that, because if you take a hit from something out, it's like holding a bar out. It's going to have more force from the leverage and pressure on the frame, so I didn't want it to really be overlapping the plastic. I wanted it to go into the hole. And if you have a skid plate that comes and wraps around the rocker, these will work with that also. You just need to let me know, and I got a additional spacer that'll go on there for the kicker when I build them for that. But even then, you don't have to remove your skid plate or anything like that to help trying to install it all at once, because this screw here already holds your skid plate on, and so all you gotta do is just put it up there and mount it in. But I just wanted to show you how quick and easy these things are to mount. And we'll get started on that. But this is a way, I usually like to start with the first bolt, and then I like to come back to the back bolt, and I like to start the front one just a little bit snug. That way I can still wiggle and get the others installed, and then go through them all and tighten them up, and then I go back to the fender board. You can take and put your leg up like that. That's the way I usually let them hold. Put your bolt in there, let it turn down. Now I got a swivel end. You can get these little things at Tractor Supply. It lets the socket swivel, and it makes it a lot easier in my opinion. And just kind of push in on the bolt and push it in towards the frame. And kind of run it in there a little bit. And then come to your back one. Put it in. And then once you got them two pretty well holding, you put this center one in. And once you get it snug, come back, push your front one in. Finish tightening them up. And then, after you got them, take your U-bolt, slide it through the mount back here on the frame rail. You got two 5/16 nuts, which use a 1/2-inch socket. You can use a 1/2-inch socket or 13 millimeters, whichever one you prefer on those. And then with them two bolts started, I like to use a deep well, a little bit longer extension on this one. Just tighten them up equally on both sides. Both touch the bracket, and then finish tightening them all the way down. And there your tree kicker is installed. And if you want to go over these bolts again, you can torque them at 14 foot-pounds if you want to. I usually think one of these nut drivers is enough. They're plenty. If you ever need to back the bolts back out and take them off, unloosen them and they'll come out, and measure from the flange to the inside of the bolt 1 inch on these two bottom ones and 7/8 on this one. And then just push the bolt through and wiggle your kicker, and it'll come right off, and then take your bolts out and squeeze them back down and reuse them. But you want your load that we designed on the boat to go down. So, but they're a pretty good kicker. Like I was talking about the tree bar line, I think it's important that it runs through here and not up too high, because when you get up here with this bar real high, you're missing stumps, rocks when you get in sidelings and real tight areas. So a bar that's not too low but kind of in this vicinity always works the best on a tree kicker, in my opinion. And as far as clearance on these, I know that I've noticed that I've seen other tree kickers that people's got the brackets and it's sitting right on top of the bar. Well, most people use 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, or whatever. Well, you're losing that much ground clearance in this area of the razor. So, with that being said, I raised this bar up with these brackets, and even on my other style, you only got about 7/8 clearance from the rocker panel to the bottom of the tube. So you don't really lose no ground clearance, and actually in the center where your trailing arm mounts is a lot lower than this is. But if you're on your side or anything, you only got 7/8 clearance, and you're still riding on the tree kicker and not the rocker panel. And to me, that makes it really help protect your machine and everything. And not only that, tree bars really strengthen up the frame. If you're in eastern Kentucky or where we're from, or around the eastern part of the states, you know that tree bars, you definitely got to have them. They're a must-have piece on your machine, especially to help protect. But because I see guys that don't have them, man, they'll come and all this is busted all to pieces. Can't even get their fuel lids holding everything on, and it's just really important to have tree kickers, in my opinion. But these holds good clearance. They mount easy. They're made out of 120 wall, 1.5 and 1 3/4, and we're currently fabbing them and building them now. They've been tested. I've done tested them personally. I know what they'll take. I know how good they are, and I believe you'll be happy with them. Guys, I hope you enjoyed our video that we just made, the installation of our tree kickers, the view of our new accessories. I want to sincerely thank all my customers again. I'd appreciate it if you would share this video, help get our name out there. I would like to give a shout out to Big Hill Media for really helping us out. He's always been there for me. He's in these Southern Rock Racing series. I'm sure you've seen him on YouTube doing the videos, flying the drones. He's getting some good footage out there. And I would like for you all to subscribe to his page, click on it, subscribe to it, share him, get his name out there because he's doing an awesome work. And I really thank Big Hill Media. Thank all you guys. Share us and like us on Facebook. And God bless each and every one of you all.